I'm going to start by reading this notice about...
Matt!
What?
Hold on, I think Donna wants to say something.
I just wanted somebody to unmute me.
You are unmuted.
Yeah, but
Okay,
you can't get unmuted by yelling my name.
Well, you never know, Matt. Go ahead, Mike.
So, pursuant to Executive Order number 202.1 issued by Governor Cuomo on March 12th, 2020, and advisories issued by federal, state, and local officials related to COVID-19 virus, the Planning Board will convene its July 8th, 2020 board meeting remotely as follows. The meeting will commence at 7 p.m. and shall be conducted through the use of Zoom, a web-based video conferencing tool with local desktop client and smartphone applications that will allow the Planning Board and those with business before the board to participate electronically and remotely by audio and with or without a video connection. In order that members of the public can view the proceedings, the meetings will be streamed on the town's YouTube channel. The link can be found on the town's website. Members of the public with questions or comments can send correspondence to info@eastgreenbush.org. Comments sent to this email will not be answered in real time. Please note that this meeting will be held remotely only and will not be held at Town Hall, which is currently closed pursuant to Executive Order 202.1. This meeting will be recorded and transcribed and posted to the town's website. So we do have a public hearing at 7:05, being that it's 7:02. Let's take care of some other business. We have June 10th, 2020 meeting minutes. Allison, who could not vote?
Everybody can vote on that set.
Okay, thought they were very well done. Does anyone have comments or questions? No one?
No.
So with that, I'm going to make a motion to approve the June 10th, 2020 meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
That was second by Mr. Patton, I think.
Yes.
Roll call as follows: Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Ms. Kupiak,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
That was a resounding yes. Resounding head shake, yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton.
Yes.
Motion carried by 5-0 vote.
Next, we have the June 24th, 2020 minutes. Who can't vote?
Chris.
Okay. I thought these minutes were better because the meeting wasn't 3 hours long. Any comments or questions? This was some of your finest work, Allison. Thank you. I will make a motion to approve the June 24th, 2020 meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bergman beat Nancy out.
Roll call as follows: Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Ms. Kupiak,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman, Ms. Horn.
Jane?
You abstain, right? And Mr. Panton.
Yes.
Motion carried by 4-0-1 vote.
All right. We're going to wait one more minute and then we'll get to the public hearing going.
You're gonna mute it, Kurt.
Can everyone
You
hear
mute
me?
yourself. There we go.
No, I kept hitting the button that said the host wasn't letting me unmute. Okay.
Yeah, that was intentional. Now he's muted again. What happened?
I didn't mute him.
I didn't see that. There we go.
There we go. Okay, I know sign language. I'll leave it at that.
So do I when I'm driving.
Okay, so we have the public hearing for Papa.
All right, 7:05. So we're good to get going there. All right. So I'm going to open the public hearing for Papa 284 Hayes Road, minor two-lot subdivision. I'll begin by reading the public hearing, or the public notice rather. Please take notice that the Planning Board of the Town of East Greenbush will hold a public hearing on July 8th, 2020, beginning at 7:05 p.m. to consider the following matters. The Town of East Greenwich Planning Board shall conduct a public hearing pursuant to Section 276 of the Town Law and the Town's Land Subdivision Regulations on the application of Charles and Teresa Papa for a minor two-lot subdivision called Subdivision of Lands of Charles and Teresa Papa. Proposed Lot 1 consists of 10.49 plus or minus acres with an existing on it. Proposed Lot 2 consists of 3.30 plus or minus acres for the building lot. The property is located in the RB Residential Buffer Zoning District, tax map number 177.2-3.61. Said public hearing will be held on Wednesday, July 8, 2020 at 7:05 p.m. at the above time and place. All interested parties will be given an opportunity to be heard by order of the Planning Board, Matt Maston, Chairman. Joe, do I have to read the rest of this?
Can you read the public hearing disclosure?
Yep. Pursuant to Executive Order number 202.1 issued by Governor Cuomo on March 12, 2020, and advisories issued by federal, state, and local officials related to the COVID-19 virus, the Planning Board will convene the public hearing remotely as follows. The public hearing will commence at 7:05 p.m. and shall be conducted through the use of Zoom, a web-based video conferencing tool with local desktop client and smartphone applications that will allow the board members and the public to participate electronically and remotely by audio and with or without a video connection. The meeting will also be live streamed on the town's YouTube channel. The link to the YouTube link and the Zoom link can be found on the town's website. Does that work, Joe?
Yep.
Okay. So I think you guys want to do a brief presentation for it? Yeah.
There's also the public hearing disclosure that sets forth the ground rules for the public hearing. Do you have that?
Yeah. Okay.
Just
Here's
what to expect.
Yep. The public hearing notice used should generally follow the format of the town's template public hearing notice. It should inform those calling in, voice-only participants, that they may experience a brief silent wait or hold prior to being admitted to the hearing. The meeting should generally be configured according to the most recent version of the town's virtual meetings policy. The meeting host will admit all participants from the waiting room at the time stated by the public hearing notice. Participants will be muted upon entry, and only the host can unmute participants. The host should unmute town officials upon entry. However, instruct participants that a list of those wishing to offer public comment. The speakers will be generated to organize public comment. Participants will be placed on mute until their turn to speak. Speaking will be normally limited to between 3 to 5 minutes or otherwise determined by the ranking member. Participants should be instructed that each speaker has finished their remarks or their business before the public body is complete. They will be placed on mute again. Their video may remain inactive or it may be disabled. Participants can also offer comments by typing their comments into the chat box. The chat box will be visible to the meeting host and will be read into the record. Disruptive participants will be removed permanently from the meeting at the discretion of the ranking member. Once the virtual ground rules have been set forth, the ranking member should read aloud the public hearing notice. So I apologize, we did that backwards. This notice should explicitly state that this virtual public hearing is being conducted pursuant to requirements set forth in New York State law and Executive Order 202.1. If it does not, the ranking member should restate it for the record. The ranking member and board will decide whether or not to keep the public hearing open after it's adjourned. If it is so decided, the public should be informed of that so they can submit written comments in the interim. All right, are we good?
Yes.
Okay, so could we get a brief presentation from the applicant?
He is saying that he's getting broken up audio. He's wanting to call in.
Is that Brian?
Yes.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. If you can hear me and the audio is not broken up, I'm only getting every couple of words from you folks. But if you can hear me plainly, I'll do my presentation.
You might want to call in if we can give you a minute if you want to call in.
Let me type.
Yeah, Dahlia, type to him and tell him to call in. We're off to a hot start.
could hear him just fine.
Yeah, but if we have to talk to him and he can't hear us, it's not going to do us much good.
Brian, yeah, you've got the number. Okay, I was going to share the screen with the number.
Susie, where's the house?
Poor guy.
Well, we can hear him fine.
Yeah, I hear him now.
Brian, what you may want to do also is, if you can hear us, is disconnect your current audio connection and reconnect using a phone, because you're going to get some serious feedback if you don't. Or we will, I should say.
Susie found the house phone. I can't wait to get back in the office.
Ryan, can you hear us? Brian, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
there
and
we
we
go.
can hear you.
Okay. I apologize. I don't know what's going on with my laptop, but the audio is terrible. It just keeps cutting in and out.
I'm just glad Susie found the house phone.
Oh, you heard that part, huh? Okay, a little bit of a panic here at the Holbritter household, but all right. So, are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready. Let it rip.
Okay, you've been waiting patiently. I know. This proposal is to create a 3.3 acre parcel in front of Charles and Teresa Papa's existing home. We're going to utilize their existing driveway with a shared easement that goes up the existing asphalt driveway. And Charles and Teresa are hoping to maybe in a couple of years build a newer, smaller home as shown on the plan. And that's about it.
Okay, so I'm going to go through the board quick. Nancy, do you have any questions?
No, I think that we got everything last week on this. I'm fine.
Yeah, I think this is very close to the fourth project we had. The fourth project. Kurt?
No questions.
Chris?
I'm good.
Don?
I'm good.
Do we have anyone in the public that wants to speak?
Yes. I'll be. Oh shoot! Give me 1 second. Stop sharing. There we go. We have Mr. and Mrs. Papa. I'll be unmuting them in case they want to have any statements, and then we also have someone from the public, David Turpinett. You're muted now. I just need you to mute yourself.
Okay, so let's start with Mr. and Mrs. Papa, if we could. Do you guys have any comment you want to add?
Give me 1 second because I'm trying to unmute them. But but I can't. They have to unmute themselves.
Mr. Turpinning said that he's just watching right now.
Okay. We can hear you now.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Papa, anything?
No, I have no comment.
Okay. So I guess from there we'll go through the formalities. Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak for this 2-lot subdivision? Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak for this 2-lot subdivision? Finally, is there anyone in the public that would like to speak for this 2-lot subdivision? Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak against this 2-lot subdivision? Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak against this 2-lot subdivision? And finally, is there anyone in the public that would like to speak against this 2-lot subdivision? Okay. Joe, I'm going to close the public hearing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Kupiak.
Roll call as follows. Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Ms. Kupiak,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton.
Yes.
Motion carried by 5-0 vote.
All right, great. We look forward to seeing you in the future. Next, we'll move on to new business, 2011 Carver Court, Upper Mannix Road for a major cluster subdivision. If we could unmute Brett.
Donna, you're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you, Donna. Bye.
Thanks, Donna.
Bye.
Brett, what do you got for us?
Okay. Just wasn't sure if I should start. As part of, and I think you probably remember a few weeks ago we were here with a lot line adjustment for the Reed parcel. My apologies. We had we withdrew the application because we were going to incorporate the 15 acres of land that we were obtaining from the Reed parcel into the Carver Court subdivision. So we had to withdraw the original application because otherwise there would be some conflicts with seeker. And we wanted to make sure that all the seeker studies included the entire parcel and the entire proposal. So what we've done since the lot line adjustment was approved by this board is move forward with resubmitting the application, including those 15 acres of land that were part of the Reed parcel. And the main reason we actually acquired that land was to increase the sight distance at the intersection of the driveway. Otherwise, there was going to need to be some basically a pretty substantial reconfiguration of the vertical curve along Upper Mannix Road because the proposed intersection where CLDZ properties had the right of way out to Upper Mannix had a pretty, it was right just over the curve, far enough that you couldn't see cars coming over that curve. So by moving it further along Upper Mannix, we're able to gain an additional sight distance. We're also able to reduce some of the wetland impacts as part of the project. So the applicant chose to obtain 15 acres of land from the Reeds. And what we're doing, it was originally our intent to leave the Carver Court cluster subdivision as it stood with the original application with the 96 cluster lots, and then develop along the access road conventional lots. However, in speaking with the town planning board attorney, Teresa Pickner, she recommended that we include the 15 acres within the cluster itself. So that so what we've done is provided the town designated engineer with a new conventional layout plan showing the actual lots increased, conventional lots increased from 96 lots to 110 building lots. He is currently reviewing that. I'm hoping to have comments back this week, right, Adam? Is that he was looking to get comments back on that this week. Then we can move forward with the revised cluster layout. We'll probably have some along the access road as we come in, but we also have, when I worked on the new cluster layout, we've got a lot of open space that we can add some additional lots in, so that we won't have, so that we can, there's plenty of space on the site. By reducing it to 96 lots, we actually, there were areas where I wanted to add lots along roads, and there were, good upland, and we were at the maximum number of lots. So I think, I actually think the layout internal to the site is going to end up working out better. We also, in speaking with Teresa, it was our original intent and interpretation of the fire access code. And it states in there that if there is a neighboring parcel that is going to be developed, it is I'm not going to get the exact verbiage correct, but it's basically up to the fire chief or the fire inspector and code inspector, if they will allow one access point to the site. We always anticipated that the Badascio parcel was going to be developed, but since there's been little action on that, Teresa thought we should include a second access point, which will be included in that cluster development, out to Thompson Hill Road as an emergency access only, so that we've got that second means of ingress egress from the site in case something were to happen at the intersection at Upper Mannix Road. But that's where we are. What we're here tonight is to get started with the seeker process, and ask this board to take lead agency so that we can start moving forward and keep the process moving as quickly as possible. I know the applicants are anxious to keep it moving, as are we, so that we can hopefully build homes out there someday.
Okay. So like Brett said, the intent tonight is to not approve anything, but to get seeker moving. But I'll start with Nancy. Do you have any comment or questions?
No, I was just trying to look at the little drawings that you provided, and mine are an 8.5 by 11, so they're kind of teeny. But I'm sure I'll have a lot of questions once we get some bigger things to look at. So no, not right now.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully next time we meet, it could maybe be in person.
That would be great.
I hope so.
Kurt?
No, I have no questions at this time.
Okay, Chris?
No questions from me either.
Don?
No questions.
Okay, easy enough. So I have nothing either. With that, I'm going to make a motion that the planning board declare lead agency and initiate a coordinated review. The planning board hereby determines that the project is an unlisted action under SECRA and hereby declares its intent to seek lead agency status in connection with a coordinated review under SECRA. The planning board hereby directs that notices to all involved or interested agencies requesting their consent to designation of the planning board as lead agency for SECRA review of the project. The following involved and interested agencies under SECRA have been identified: U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, New York State DEC, New York State DOT Region 1, New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, Rensselaer County Health Department, Rensselaer County Water and Sewer Authority, Town of East Greenwich Town Board, East Greenwich Fire District Number 3, Bruin Rescue Squad, Best Luther Fire Department. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Pan.
Roll call as follows. Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Ms. Kupiak,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Pan.
Yeah.
Motion carried by a 5-0 vote.
Thanks for your time, Brett. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good talking with you, Joe.
So next, we'll move on to ZBA Appeal 2020-05, Collins Homeland LLC, 44 Troy Road for an area variance. A report by Ms. Horn, which is very well done, I must say.
Well, thank you. And thank you to Nancy for talking me through the approach on my first report, and for all the others who helped look at it as well.
It's the new planning board mentorship program.
And so, yeah, no kidding. Group effort for sure. So thank you, everybody. So this is, as Matt said, an application for an area variance at 44 Troy Road. That's the part of Route 4 that is, I'd say it's about halfway between the Stewart Circle and Janae Elementary School on the east side. The building's an adaptive reuse of a single-family home. It's currently being used by an IT consulting company. The application is basically to improve their parking and access to the building. The building, and I don't know if you've all had time to look at the report, I put some pictures in it, but the building basically has a large circular driveway in the front of it that's used to access the front of the building. And then there's a second driveway that comes in to the left side of the house and down a slope into the back, like lower level of the building. And so there's 3 curb cuts in total to the building. And what they're proposing to do is basically replace the big circular driveway with a 6-spot parking lot instead. And then they would eliminate those 2 curb cuts and then improve the other curb cuts. So there'd just be 1 curb cut that would provide access to that parking lot in the front, as well as the driveway that goes down the slope to the back lower level of the building, where there's an additional about 7 parking spots. So in looking at this, the surrounding neighborhood is primarily single-family homes. There's a little bit of commercial mixed in here or there. The vast majority of those homes all have big turnaround, gravel or paved turnarounds in the fronts of their yard. Most of them have cars parked in them all the time. I included a couple of pictures of the neighbors. And in my opinion, the addition of an official parking space in replacement of this big circular driveway wouldn't really adversely impact the overall character of the neighborhood. You can actually park more than 6 cars on the circular driveway if the applicants wanted to. The other issue that the applicants had is they wanted to improve access to the front of the building because there's no ADA accessibility between levels of the building. And so if someone were to park in the official parking lot they have at the lower level in the back, there's no way to get a wheelchair, for example, up to the upper level. So again, I didn't think that from a variance perspective that there was an impact to the overall character of the neighborhood. But I do think what is a big consideration is the fact that Route 4 is a major corridor, and there's a proposed site plan that's included in the report that shows the landscaping that they're proposing. Right now, there's only basically 1 big maple tree in the front that unfortunately would have to go, and otherwise just some very minimal landscaping that exists. And they put together a proposed plan for landscaping that includes some juniper screening. It includes 2 new deciduous shade trees. But Adam was very helpful today in doing some legwork in terms of what the actual code standards are for landscaping around that type of parking lot. And it appears that the applicant is going to need to request a modification from the planning board if they're to meet the landscaping requirements that are in the code. So it's because of their lot size and a number of other issues that what they have put forth on a draft site plan wouldn't meet standards today. So that's kind of the gist of the project. I don't know if we need to formally put something into the report, Adam, based on what you were able to find out with respect to the codes and the
I think what we can do is just when we vote on it, we can condition it that they have to come back for a site plan modification type thing, and then we can deal with it at that time. Does that make sense, Joe and Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I think they initially applied for a site plan modification, and we realized that their parking didn't fit the CZL, the comprehensive zoning laws. So that's why they had to go for variance. And so once the variance is granted, they'll automatically be coming back to the planning board for that site plan modification.
So we probably don't even need a condition then.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I would just say.
The variance really was required based on the setback requirements for the parking, but there also seemed to be some question about the number of spaces that are required for the PPP zoning that the building is in. But, you know, from the perspective of just setback requirements, I didn't see it as an issue to make a formal parking lot in front of the building.
Yeah, I just wanted to say too that it might be the research, you know, based on the parcel configuration, it seems like they may have a difficult time meeting many of the buffering and the parking lot and perimeter landscaping requirements. So it's kind of, you know, something that the board's probably going to have to work through with them pretty carefully. That was kind of the upshot of, you know, looking at it against the code. So
yeah, and I do think that this, you know, really could set some important precedent, you know, as other single family homes along that corridor may look to turn into professional buildings. I put one shot of the insurance building that's down the road, and what a beautiful job they did landscaping. You know, and I think this is an opportunity for us to, you know, when they do come back and we work with them on landscaping, you know, to really look closely in terms of ensuring it's keeping with the intent of the comprehensive plan, you know, and what we want that future corridor to really look like.
Chris, I didn't see anything in the plan. Did they have any lighting or anything? Because, you know, I noticed with these little places that are springing up, they're set far back and it's kind of dark. There's not a lot of street lights on Route 4. And I'm wondering, you know, in terms of if we ever get sidewalks or anything along there, the walkability and lighting it up a little more so that if people are, you know, walking along the road, they're not getting hit, or, you know, just to make it look a bit more inviting. Was there anything? Was there any?
Yeah, good point. There wasn't any lighting in the plan. They had details of some of the, you know, actual landscaping selections, but no lighting.
Yeah, that's all stuff we'll address during the site plan anyway too.
We can address lighting in that. I thought it was just for the issues with screening the parking, Matt.
The parking is just the variance. I mean, if they come in for a site plan modification, I think we can, you know, ask them to. It's a site plan, right? We can ask them. We can bring up lighting. We can bring up landscaping.
Okay.
I don't know why we can't do that.
I thought it would have to just to do with the landscaping as it pertains to screening for the parking areas. It would be limited to that because that's what's addressed in the code. I don't see anything with lighting, but okay. All right.
I guess I defer to Joe or Adam. I mean, I think you can. When there's a new site plan, I think you can ask for just about anything.
Anything? Okay.
No, I shouldn't say that. But
yeah,
say anything, but there's a list of things required under the site plan review that can be discussed with applicants.
Is there anything regarding the signage too? Because I noticed the insurance company, they have a nice sign, and then there is the big insurance company across the road. It's a nice building, well lit, good signage. Some of them have nice signage. Some of them are really kind of crazy, like hokey little signages. You know, there's a whole mixture of signs along Route 4, and I didn't know if they had any plans for the signage. Chris, did he address that at all?
No, that's another good point.
yeah, I guess they have to figure it out because if it doesn't meet the zoning, they're going to be back for another variance.
Right. Okay, those are the three things I think we always focus on will be landscaping, lighting, and signage. Sometimes, you know, curb cuts, Ralph is here, dumpsters, but, you know.
I think just to Nancy, to follow up, I believe there is an existing sign out there. Isn't that right?
There is yeah.
Like the small wooden sign or something, right?
Right. It's real plain. I mean, you've got a variety of signs. I mean, even when you go past the Trump property, the signage for his flags and everything are right up to his mailbox, which is incredible. At this point, since they've been there for 4 years, I can't believe we consider those temporary signs, but every once in a while that property comes up. But it is a part of the Route 4 corridor as well.
Yeah, I just don't want to be the person that has to enforce it.
Okay. I'll volunteer for that one.
Okay. So, as far as the report relative to the parking spot, Nancy, do you have any further comment?
No.
Kurt? Is he on mute?
No.
You're good? Don?
I'm good.
I hope that Kurt just votes on everything for the rest of time by shaking his head. So with that, you want to make a positive recommendation, Chris?
Yes.
So I'm going to make a motion that the board makes a positive recommendation based on zoning purposes for the proposed area variance. Does that sound right, Joe? Joe?
Go left.
Did he?
I don't know.
Sound right to me.
Sorry, I had myself muted. I would just add the language based upon sound planning principles, as the board normally does.
I'll make a motion that we make a positive recommendation upon sound planning principles. Ms. Horn, would you like to second?
I'd love to second.
All right, second by Mrs. Horn.
Roll call
Great,
as
great
follows.
report.
Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Ms. Kupiec,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Pan.
Yes.
Motion carried by 5-0 vote.
All right, I think that's all we have. Someone say something?
I said, good job, Chris.
Thanks again for the help.
So, do you have anything else?
No.
I might surprise my wife and be home early.
You're home.
Yeah.
I'm at my dad's house. This is where I work. I don't have an office.
You're not using your mobile office this evening, Matt?
His front porch.
Or
Wow, I didn't know what the weather was going to be like, so I traveled out. My dad lives a mile away, so I travel here on my days because I'm working from home anyway, so I came down for the meeting. All right, anyone have anything else? So I'm going to make a motion to close the meeting. Right, Joe?
Yeah.
All right, look at me go.
God.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
All right, meeting's closed. Thanks, everyone. That's record time. I think
Yeah.
2 meetings ago, we were 3 hours long.
Taylor, you can, I stopped the recording.